हेलो नमस्ते, मैं हूं डॉक्टर सौरभ एंड वेलकम टू साइंसिया ब्रेनरी। Twins have fascinated the scientists and journal public for centuries, as there are some health implications of twin pregnancies. Twins have more complications at birth. They are more often born premature and have lower birth weight and have high infant mortality rate. Likewise, the twin mothers, they are also at high risk of complications. For example, gestational diabetes, maternal mortality. So in this context, recently a study has been found. In a study, it has been found that the world is currently at the peak twin stage. Means the twin populations or twin births, they are rising currently. And what is in vitro fertilization? Who is the first test tube baby? Who is the bird's first test tube baby? And what is the role of this in vitro fertilization in attaining the peak twin stage? So let's start the discussion. In this lecture, we will know about all these facts. So actually, you might have seen that recently in a news that many media channels, they cover this news that more twins are being born now than ever before, and the number of twins in the world is highest it has ever been. So actually, a study, it has been reported, and it has been published recently on 12th of March of this month, just 2 to 3 days back, in the journal Human Reproduction. And they have reported that twin peaks, more twinning in humans than ever before. So in this study, they have found that during 1970s, that the twinning rates, they were low in East Asia, and the twinning rates, they were at intermediate level in Europe and North America in 1970s. And this twinning rate, it was high in African countries, and where the Nigeria during that time, it was seen as the twinning champion of the world. So this was the situation in 1970s. Okay. So why actually this you can see that now they have reported a surge in the twin birth actually. So they are saying that this in this report, the publication, the scientists are claiming that the world is now at the peak twin stage. So actually, why there is surge in this twin birth? So one of the main reason is actually it is in vitro fertilization, and other is the people are starting their families at in the later stages. Okay, means in the later stages of their life, and which is accompanied by other assisted reproduction techniques. Okay, so if you see that if you see currently, if I give you the current data, then you can see that currently about 1.6 million twins, they are born every year globally. Okay, so every year about 1.6 million twins are born each year worldwide. Okay, and this global twinning rate, it has increased by a third since 1980s. If you see during the periods of 1980s, if you say about 30 years ago, okay, the this twin birth rate, it was, you can see that that was about 9 per 1,000 deliveries, but now it has been increased to 12 per 1,000 deliveries. So you can see that it has risen by a third since 1980s in the period of last 30 years. So there is a surge in the twin birth. Okay, so in this report, like you can see that this is the case of North America from the 2010 to 2015. So this was the scenario in North America, that if you see that during 1980 to 1985, for a period of 5 years, during 1980 to 1985, the scenario of North America was like that there was about 9.9 twins per 1,000 deliveries. Okay, means, and which raised to the level of, in 2010 to 2015, which raised to the level of 16.9 twins per 1,000 deliveries. Okay, so you can see that there was a surge in twin birth. Okay, so they have claimed that these scientists, they have said that this is the peak twin stage, and but this is mainly happening in the regions, especially in the high and middle income countries like Europe, North America. Okay, where and that's why now the emphasis in these countries, the emphasis is on the refining the fertility treatments to minimize the multiple births, to minimize the birth of twins. Actually, okay. So we can say that this is now all-time high. This twin birth is now all-time high stage from that is in right now actually, and the relative and absolute numbers of twins in the world are higher than they have ever been since the mid 20th century. Okay, and जो twins हैं, they are actually now there is a increase in survival of twin birth also actually due to advancement in the medical sciences, or you can say medical sciences में advancement की वजह से now there is increase in survival rate also, twin survival rate also. Okay, so that's why this you can see that now world is at the peak twin stage, and actually in this study they analyzed the data from 165 countries for a period of 2010 to 2015, and for about 112 countries for a period of 1980 to 1985, and they found that in this study they found that there was a 71% increase in twinning rate in North America. 71% increase in twinning rate in North America, and likewise they have found a significant increase in other European countries and Asia also. And if you talk about Asia, they have found a 32% increase in Asia in the twinning rates. Okay, so you can see that researchers, they have noted that actually they have also claimed that they have also noticed in this recorded in this study actually that जो monozygotic twins है ना, the monozygotic or identical twins, their their level is constant actually, so that is stable. Means monozygotic or identical twins means which are born from the same egg. Okay, which are born from the same egg, that are called as monozygotic or identical twins which are born from the same egg. Okay, so the monozygotic or identical twins, they are stable, means at about you can say 4 twins per 1,000 deliveries globally. Okay, so this level of monozygotic twins is stable, but there is surge in means there is increase in dizygotic twins, means the fraternal twins or non-identical twins which are born from separate eggs. So you can see that there is the stability, the level of monozygotic twins is stable, but there is surge in dizygotic twins or non-identical twins which are born from the separate eggs actually. So it mainly happens through this you can say that assisted reproduction technologies like in vitro fertilization. Okay, and although there are several other factors are involved, so you can see that in brief if I tell you, okay, but are the fraternal twins. Fraternal means dizygotic twins, non-identical twins. Okay, fraternal means dizygotic or non-identical twins. Okay, so they are produced from 2 sperms. Okay, so 2 sperms, they fertilize 2 separate eggs. Okay, so 2 sperms, they fertilize 2 separate eggs, and which results in the dizygotic twins or fraternal twins. Okay, and if you talk about the identical twins or monozygotic twins, okay, in that case single sperm, it fertilizes a single egg. Okay, but actually what happens, this actually splits it divides and it makes 2 babies actually. Okay, so dizygotic, in case of dizygotic or non-identical or fraternal twins, 2 sperms, they are fertilizing 2 separate eggs. Okay, and which develop in the womb at the same time, and that leads to the dizygotic twins, means non-identical twins. And in case of identical twins, single sperm, it fertilizes single egg and which further divides and make the 2 babies. So that is identical twins. Okay, then there are semi-identical twins. In that case what happens, actually 2 sperm, they fertilize single egg. Okay, and then they split. Okay, and which makes 2 babies. Okay, that is semi-identical twins. Okay, so this is in brief about the fraternal, identical and semi-identical twins. Okay, so in case of Japan, they have in this study they have also found that in case of Japan, okay, So more of the identical twins are more in case of Japan. If you take the example of Japan, so they have more of identical twins. Okay, and while you take the example of Africa, so they have more of non-identical twins. Okay, so actually they have claimed that this could be genetic factors, or there could be more other factors responsible for this, like because this is also related to the genetics and race also, because it has been established that the black African women, they have high tendency of this fraternal or dizygotic twins. Okay, and lowest tendency in Asian women. Okay, regarding the twins. Then regarding heredity also as another reason, because if suppose the mother, that is mother herself is the means she herself is the fraternal twin or dizygotic twin, then there are high chances that she may have further that dizygotic twins. So it is related with heredity also, race also, heredity also. Okay, and then other is you take the example of this in vitro fertilization techniques, in which what happens actually, the scientists or doctors, what they do actually, they implant more than 2 or 3 embryos in the mother womb. Okay, in the mother uterus. Okay, so that also leads to sometimes more twins actually. So that is actually also one of the main reason actually, in vitro fertilization. Okay, so that's why now the governments are regulating those things. Okay, to refine the fertilization treatment. Okay, so then other regions could be that if you talk about the other regions. Okay, so then you can see that the other reason may be that most of the peoples, they are starting the families at the later ages now, and then there is a greater use of contraception and lower fertility rates that might be playing some part in the increase of twinning rates. Okay, and if there may be the case of why people are going for in vitro fertilization actually. Okay, that due to the infertility problem, whether it's related to the female or male. Okay, so if you see that here you can say that most of the increase it has been in the fraternal, okay, yani ki dizygotic or non-identical twins who develop from the separate eggs and the separate sperm. Okay, and the rate of identical twins, it is caused by an embryo splitting in two in the first few days. Okay, after the fertilization, like I told you in previous slide, I have discussed you in detail about the what are the fraternal and what are the identical and what are the semi-identical twins. Okay, so actually the growing of the, you can see that fertility treatment techniques like in vitro fertilization. So now the people are means the use of these techniques is increasing actually continuously actually. So that is actually biggest factor which is responsible for twin births. Okay, especially in the high and middle income countries like Europe and North America. Okay, and other thing is that women are they are taking the hormones, because mostly people are going for the in vitro fertilization treatments, so they are taking the hormones or other chemical treatments, so which to stimulate the egg production. Okay, so which can lead to them means the releasing of 2 eggs at once. Okay, so means to increase the egg production, so they are releasing more eggs at once. Okay, in the single time. Okay, so that is also one of the another reasons for the increase in, for the surge in twin birth. So like I told you, what the biggest factor is in vitro fertilization actually. So in vitro fertilization, when means like I told you, what happens, the doctor, what they do actually, they transfer 2, 3 or more embryos in the uterus of the mother. Okay, to boost the chances at least, so that at least one of the embryo that may survive. Because if I tell you that in vitro fertilization have the success rate is about 40%. Okay, so that's why what the people do actually, doctors do that if you suppose like I told you in previous slide that mother takes the hormones, or during that in vitro fertilization process also the doctor give before that treatment actually, the doctor give the injections or treatments to the mother. Okay, so that they to enhance the egg production, to stimulate the egg production, so more number of eggs are produced. So if they will take the sperm and they will fertilize more and fertilize the eggs, and more embryos, suppose 3, 4, 5, 8, suppose 8 embryos are produced in vitro, in the in vitro conditions. Okay, outside the human body. So at that time, but the doctor do actually, they implant half of the embryos, suppose just like that. Here I am telling you that sometimes they transfer 2, 3 or more embryos in the uterus or simultaneously. Okay, so to boost the chances that at least one survive, because the success rate is 40% only. That's why they transfer more embryos. Okay, and half of the embryos they are kept for in the liquid stage, liquid cryopreservation stage. Okay, in the liquid cryopreservation stage. Okay, so for the suppose if you have to go for the repeat the treatment, in vitro fertilization treatment, if the first treatment it fails actually, so that's why in that case they actually means they save the half of the embryos, but in the first instance only they actually implant 2-3 embryos actually. So that sometimes that can lead to pregnancies of the twins or even the triplets or even the higher number of the babies. Okay, and because the babies in such type of pregnancies they have a greater health risk, like I told you that premature newborn, low birth weight, and high infant mortality rate, and high complications for the mothers also, like gestational diabetes and maternal mortality. So that's why now if you see the countries, many countries in the like in Europe, if you see that take the example of UK, now they are regulating these things actually. So now they have actually they have guided the doctors or clinicals that they say that they should aim to transfer only one embryo in each attempted pregnancy cycle. Okay, so now they are regulating these things so that they should only implant only one embryo. Okay, so that may lead to the lower down of this twin birth. Okay, so that there should not be high risk of complications to the mother. Okay, so what is in vitro fertilization actually? होता क्या है, जैसे कि हम बताया कि what is in vitro fertilization? It is a form of assisted reproductive technology during which the process of fertilizing eggs with the sperm is done outside the human body. Means the eggs जो egg और sperm का जो fertilization process है, that is done outside the human body in the in vitro conditions. Okay, and the resulting embryo that is then it is implanted into the woman's uterus for a successful pregnancy. Okay, so under what condition this IVF is recommended? Actually, people go for IVF, in vitro fertilization treatment. So it is mainly done in case of the infertility, whether it's male fertility or female infertility, or you can say sterility problem. Okay, or sometimes there is chances that there is a damage of the fallopian tubes. Okay, fallopian tubes where actually the fertilization of the egg happens in natural way. Okay, in the natural way the sperm fertilize the egg in the fallopian tubes. So sometimes it is damaged actually. So that is in that case also people go for the IVF. Then if you are going for the advanced means people are now starting the families at the later stages, so there are some problems in conceiving and other problems are in the conception. So in that case also people are going for the IVF. Okay, then other factors may be involved. Okay, and means that may be genetic or other. Okay, so in that case you can see that this is the case of embryo fertilization, and you can see that if I tell you in this picture, you can see that this is the case of in vitro fertilization. You see that if injections or treatments are given to the women, while the means to stimulate the egg production in the ovary. So this process is called ovarian stimulation, means hormone therapy. Okay, then if you see, then with the help of a needle, the eggs are taken out and outside with the help of needle and with the help of vacuum pump, and then in the in vitro conditions, means if you see that in the in vitro conditions the sperms and egg, okay, the fertilization is done in the in vitro conditions. Okay, and then this is the embryo development stage, and after the embryo development, after the fertilization, the embryo development, the embryo is actually transferred to the implanted into the woman uterus. Okay, so this is the whole case of the in vitro fertilization. Or if sometime if you see that suppose that mother is not body is not capable of that embryo transfer. Okay, so then we look for the, means you can say other mother, you can see that surrogate mother. Okay, so that is a case of in vitro fertilization. Okay, so if I give you the example of the who is the first test tube baby or the first child who was born with this in vitro fertilization technique, so you can see that during on 25th of July 1978, the Louise Joy Brown, the world's first baby to be conceived via in vitro fertilization, is born at Oldham and District General Hospital in Manchester, England. okay, to the parents Leslie and Peter Brown. Okay, so you can see that it was the news in 1978, 25th of July 1978. So Louise Brown, you can see this now she is 40 plus, and she is living a healthy life and a healthy, normal, natural life. So she is the world's first test tube baby who took birth on 25th of July 1978 with the technique of in vitro fertilization. Okay, actually her mother was also having the problem of this fallopian tubes. Actually they were damaged. Okay, so she is the world's first test tube baby, and now you can see that she is having with her child who has been taken the birth with a normal delivery in natural way. Okay, so for this in vitro fertilization process, the Dr. Robert Edward, okay, he received the Nobel Prize in 2010 in the field of physiology or medicine. Okay, so he is also regarded as the father of in vitro fertilization. So with this, I would like to end today's lecture. I hope you might have known some interesting facts about this in vitro fertilization, about the bird at the peak twin stage. And if you like the video, please share, subscribe, and like. And with this, I would say thank you, stay happy, stay blessed, and stay safe. Thank you.